She Said, He Said is sponsored by Times Media Company and Lee Enterprises. Our show is recorded each week at Creative Space Place Studios in Hobart, Indiana.
You're listening to She Said, He Said with Karen and Jerry Davidge, a potpourri of everything that has to do with relationships and the baggage that comes with it, because there's a lot to unpack. Have you called your mom today? Did you call your mom? You did call your mom.
I did. You know, before on the way here, I even wrote myself a little sticky note because I always call, but sometimes I forget to call when. So I want to make sure I called on the way here. Mm-hmm. Call your mom on the way. So I brought this to tell anybody else.
Call your mom.
Call your mom. Call your mom on the way. On the way where? On the way anywhere.
Anywhere.
Just give her a call.
She wants to hear from you.
No matter what.
Believe me. She wants to hear from you.
Even if you say nothing at all. You can say
Even
you got some eggs at the store today.
Yeah,
That's all
she
that
wants to
matters.
know.
It's fine.
She wants to know.
Give her an update about anything at all.
Because one day you're not going to have a mom to call, and then
That'd
you're
be
going to be...
Karen's situation. Her mom passed away. Yeah.
My mom passed away 8 years ago, and I don't have a mom to call, so you should really call your mom. Yeah. I have 2 kids that don't call me,
Not
so
enough.
I speak from experience.
She does. So she has a mom who doesn't get the calls.
If my kids called me just to say they bought eggs, I would love that.
Oh, my God. That would make her day.
It would make my day.
It really would.
I would love that.
So I'm going to mail this to Karen's kids. Bob and Sarah expect this soon.
They'd be like, yeah, okay.
Call your mom. They'll give you a text. Hey, what's up with this calling your mom thing? That's what they'll do. That's how it works. Because you could text is easier than calling.
You know, the thing that's a kicker is that they know. They
kicker.
know.
It's a kicker, she says.
And they still won't call.
Yeah, that's
get
why
that?
Their calls are
Yeah,
even
get
more
that?
precious. When
Yeah.
you do actually call, then it's as with anybody. When you call your mom, it's a precious thing. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal, and your mom would
So
absolutely
if you
love to
glean
hear from
nothing
you.
from our show of any kind, of anything you listen to, 1 or 2 or 5 of our episodes,
Call your mom.
call your mom.
She wants to hear from you.
It'll pay off just for that alone.
really
Tell her,
will.
and tell her you heard from us.
Yeah.
Then she'll like us.
She will.
And she'll visit our house, and we'll have to say, sorry, we don't do company, ma'am. Never mind. Don't tell you heard from us.
No, we have nothing to do with this. But just please call your mom.
Done.
And call your mom, please. Or your
Thanks.
dad. Call
Oh,
your
we
parents.
forgot about You brought cookies to Chris Bosch's house as a liaison.
That's true.
To try to woo him to be a bull back in the
did.
day. And your daughter made
My daughter, Kara.
made the cookie.
Yeah.
How did you cross that line between being Chuck, the sportscaster, the announcer, to this gentleman who knows Chris?
Well, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and I don't look at Chris Bosch or Stephen Curry as players. I look at them as human beings. I'm not, hanging out with them. Obviously, I see Stephen twice a year when the Bulls play the Warriors in San Francisco and when they come to play Chicago. But he knows I have his back, and I've had his back and his family's back since they came to Toronto when I was doing the Raptor games, when they signed with the Raptors in 2000. So, to me, following his career and seeing the platform and how he's used his superstardom to encourage and enlighten others on social issues has been fabulous. He is a great man, and I'm talking about Stephen and
right.
and his sister and his brother and his mom and dad. With Chris, he was drafted by the Raptors in 2003, and he was 19 years young, a young 19, and so he couldn't go into bars. He couldn't, that's the way it is, Sorry, you're 19, go have a milkshake. And so there were a couple of us with the team that said, Chris, you know what? You want to have dinner? You want to have lunch? Let's do it. Let's hang out. I got to know his mom, Frida, and I established a really solid relationship with Chris because I have no agenda. The only agenda I have in my life, I want to see other people succeed. And I rejoice the fact that I could see where this was going in his career, even before he became a megastar and an NBA champ.
You knew already.
Absolutely.
Same for like Curry. When he was
Correct.
a kid, he was still shooting threes. You knew he had a super talent of some kind?
Yep.
It's amazing. How did he parlay that? Like how did he go from this just being a kid who you knew to being the superstar?
Because guess what, Jerry? He worked at it, and he loved it. And he had great parents. Truth of the matter is that if you've got a base and you love what you do, whether it's writing a column, doing a podcast, working at a bank, selling shoes, whatever the case may be. I've told my children this, find something that you love, because when you do that, you'll have an attitude in your heart and in your soul of a spirit that you will want to go to work. You will want to contribute. You will want to be alive. And when you're that, and when you've got those little, droplets of success and, passion and joy, sprinkling into your DNA,
right,
it's going to grow.
Right.
Okay? And it's fertilizer for the soul.
Fertilizer for the soul.
Yes.
We love that, Chuck.
You are friends with one Rod Blagojevich.
Yes.
And I have to say, in my life, I would have never found myself sitting there talking to Rod Blagojevich.
In a Southside church of Chicago.
But there we were, and I tell you what, I found him charming. I did.
He's very charming.
He's very nice.
Yes.
And just like you said, people still call him Governor Blagojevich.
Yes.
People stopped him in the middle of the street to
Yes.
shake his hand, to talk to him.
Right.
He still has that charisma.
Yes.
So how did that happen to you? How did you get in the same airspace as one Rod Blagojevich?
Okay. I have it's okay, this is a great story. I have another project that I love on the south side where you guys were at. If you
Yeah.
remember the community center where
sure
we're going
do.
to build.
Right
which
across
we
from
do
New
need-
Beginnings Church, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
and we broke ground on it, and I'll talk about that a little bit later if you guys
Okay,
let
yeah,
me.
absolutely.
So we broke ground on it, and I didn't know that Rod had also been part of the project because there had been so many people that were sleeping on the rooftop to help raise money. Well, we were doing a food giveaway one day, and I was on the rooftop. I don't know what I was doing. I was on the rooftop doing something, and I'm looking down at the people getting away the food, and I go, wait, that's Rod Blagojevich. I go, no way. What's he doing here? So I went down, and I introduced myself.
Of course you did, because you're
Yeah,
Lisette.
because
Yeah.
I wanted to know what he.
We would
Well,
never
what
do
are
that.
you doing here? Yeah.
We're not good at introducing
No,
ourselves
we'd
to
be like,
people.
oh my God, that's Rod Blagojevich.
Yeah, she would gossip. I'd go the other direction. That's how we do business.
Yeah, I wanted to know, so I asked him, and he was like just the greatest, nicest guy
Of course,
ever.
he was on. Of course, yeah, right.
So when I did get my chance to speak to him, because people again were clamoring, I mean, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's crazy how they glom onto him.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
we saw it in person as
You
well.
saw, right now, imagine a food line going very slowly, and everybody getting out of their cars to take photos. and-
Yes.
yeah. So he goes, well, do you wanna work together, because there was teams. So like, okay, like bread had a team, and the cereal had a team. I was like, yeah, we'll
You'd be
work
on
together.
the bread team.
I'd be on the bread team. Team bread.
That's right.
That's
I
my
was
motto.
on the bread team.
Team bread. Jerry's, yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, there was this one pack of bread, and it was focaccia bread. And I was like, oh my gosh, I know because my aunt was coming through to get some food from my other aunt who lives in Gary. And I was like, I'm going to save that for her because she loves focaccia bread. Rod gave it away. And so I had to pull Rod aside, and I was like, Rod, you took my bread. And he's like,
took
what
my bread.
he's like,
my
like,
bread.
what bread? And I was like, my focaccia bread. He goes, well, how do you know the difference? I'm like, because it's a focaccia bread. And I knew I had it set aside. Oh,
How do you not know the difference?
Rod. Duh.
Yeah, and so there's somebody has a great picture of him and I going back. We weren't
and
arguing,
forth with
we
the
were
bread.
talking.
Yes.
Like, why'd you give my bread away? But
You were breaking bread.
I love it.
Yeah.
we
You
were
breaking bread with Rod. That's what you were doing.
Oh my gosh, we should do that sometime.
Right?
That's funny. It's crazy how you meet people sometimes, and
It's
that's
crazy
my
how
story.
you meet people sometimes.
I
It's
know.
very-
But then through you, we met him because you mentioned to me, this is a few months ago, do you want to meet Rod Blagojevich for a column?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say no. So, of
Right.
course, we said, yeah, set it up. So we set it up at New Beginnings Church.
Yes.
We met him on a hot summer day. It was
Yes.
beautiful. He was dressed nicely. I was
Yeah.
not as usual. We went down and talked. He mentioned that he's Serbian, I'm Croatian. So
Yes.
that kind of initiated the conversation.
Yeah.
And like Karen said initially, once we started talking to him, he's just likable.
Yeah.
I mean,
know.
despite
He's
his
just
infamy,
likable.
despite his history, reputation, whatever it might be, he's just a likable guy. I relate that to like some politicians who I'll meet, and I'll go, despite what I've read about them, what I heard,
Yeah.
they're just likable people, which is why
Yeah.
maybe they're politicians, because they could win people over quickly.
Right.
Well, within an hour or so. I mean, not that, I don't know if I would like vote for this man for
Yeah.
something or anything else, but he was just likable. And that's the same thing Karen felt. And we both felt in a very surreal moment. We're sitting across from him talking. And I'm interviewing Rod Blagojevich. And I'm liking the guy, and we're getting along quite well.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Yeah, and he's like that all the time. He doesn't shut it off. Like, I don't know. Like,
Maybe he doesn't even turn it on. Maybe that's who he is.
Yeah,
you know what? That's it.
I guess. I don't
Bingo,
know.
that's what it is.
Because I even asked him. I asked him some point blank questions. If you guys remember, questions that kind of delicate or sensitive, and everybody kind of stopped, like, "Ooh, Jerry, don't ask that. Jerry, don't do that."
Yeah.
And I didn't mean that, but I'm just curious.
Sure.
Are you always like this? I said. Is this? And he thought, well, it's a good question. I don't know. I guess you are always like this. If you're always like this. And,
Yeah.
and he did not know, but I guess he's just always.
But
on.
another
Yes.
thing, I mean, he answered all your questions.
He did. He
Yeah.
didn't back off of anything I
No.
said, whether it's his prison time, his belief in
Yeah.
God, his new beginning at a New Beginnings church, his
Right.
resurrection of his spirituality. I kind of addressed all
Yeah.
that in many ways. And,
Yeah.
it was an interesting conversation. Yeah,
It
we
really was.
really enjoyed it, oddly
And
enough.
yeah, thank you for the opportunity because
he's
wow,
great.
that was very surreal in a good way.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of great projects coming along. We've been working on one big one in Chicago, and he's been going into different neighborhoods talking to people what's keeping them up in this, in Chicago. I think it's something like what's keeping Chicagoans up at night.
Well, that's
Oh.
good.
And so he'll go and just talk to whoever. And actually, he made his way to Northwest Indiana to talk to some farmers even. So he's spreading his wings a little bit too, just to see what's keeping you up at night, what's really bothering you.
Right.
So it's been very cool to watch. So there's a lot of footage that should be coming out soon on it. I know there's a trailer out there for it, for this series he's got.
Of course there is. What we noted especially is after the conversation, we went outside. We're on, was it Martin Luther King Drive, I believe it
Yes.
is, right
Yep,
there?
yep.
South Chicago. And all these cars are slowing down.
Yes.
Governor Blagojevich, or just governor, as simple as
Yeah.
that. And he
Shaking
addressed
his
her,
hand and
he
taking
was
pictures.
looking. I mean, you could see him engaging with people,
Oh, yeah.
as only certain people in the human race can do, I think. Because I don't. I look down. I'm not like that at all. And,
Right.
But he was, and people just stopped. They want to get photo ops, talk to him about anything. I found that very fascinating.
It is. It's very hard to go, when we're on certain projects together, it's very hard to keep to a schedule.
Yes, I'll
bet.
Yeah.
Because it's constant stop, and he doesn't like the whole handler thing. You know how most politicians have a handler.
Right.
Don't
No.
do that, Tim. He wants to talk to the people.
Yeah,
and
he does.
That's what he likes. He loves taking photos, and he loves talking to people. Yeah, he does.
Interesting. Well, we enjoyed the experience. so
Yeah.
we wanted
Thank
to-
you so much.
We wanted
no
to thank you for
problem,
setting
no.
that up, because some of the things that we bump into, Karen and I, and through my career and what
Yeah.
I've been doing, I find myself in these surreal situations, and I go, "Who am I? What am I doing? This is what I do in a way."
That's what you do.
And that was one of them that we thought, and we both walked out of the church going, "What did we just do?"
oh,
Right?
That was so cool.
Yeah, right. It was very interesting. Yeah.
I'm so glad.
So
yeah.
thanks for that.
Well, first off, I want to say that I do not admit to everyone that I watch The Housewives, and I watch them. It is my guilty pleasure. Don't judge me. I watch all of them.
Ain't no judgment here. This is a safe space.
Yeah, nobody's
I mean, it's just
tuning in here.
And my,
And as Kyle would say, just be open and honest.
own it.
Oh gosh, own it. Yes.
We could do this all day.
We could absolutely. Yes. It's
Well,
fun.
why is the Housewives franchise, for instance, always either hushed, either you love it or you hate it, or you're shy or you're guilty about it? Why is it a guilty pleasure? Why do people get ashamed of watching it and admitting it? Really, why is that?
What do you think?
I mean, because
Is
it's
it that trashy
terrible
that-
trash, right? I mean, it is. It's people behaving badly. I mean, it's just constant fighting and
But these are rich people as well. So it's
Well-
not like people watching kind of typical
Yes.
the Kentucky Who Boo Hoo.
Oh, Honey Boo Boo.
Honey Boo Boo, sorry. Boo Boo Hoo. I'm thinking of Yogi
Boo
Bear
Hoo.
and Boo, whatever, I don't know.
well, I didn't watch that,
But it's not like
just,
that.
It's trash. It's just good. I mean, everyone wants to see how the other half lives, right?
Yeah, right.
And it's pretty bad.
It is. It is. They have a lot of them don't have any redeeming qualities, but at the same time, and these women are my age and a little older, which I think that's what
So they're older than 30, you're saying?
they're older than 30.
100%, Jerry. Good.
Yes, they're
Thank you,
older.
baby.
Oh, you're so funny. But there's just it's a voyeuristic pleasure.
Yes.
And when they do the confessionals, when they're just doing their headshots, it's like they're you're letting in on this secret about this woman. Did you
Yes.
hear what she said about so and so? I'm like, oh.
Don't they have that special, like they twist and they say something clever?
Oh, the taglines.
Tagline?
Oh, what
Those
would
are
you-
my favorite.
What would be your tagline?
Yeah, housewife
That's a great question.
tagline.
That is a good question. And sometimes I joke around with my best friend and we do taglines. but
See? Here comes the guilt. Here it comes.
I don't know if they're podcasts.
Scooping it out.
I don't know what my.
Karen does. Karen knows hers.
I
Where's
think
the
I would
remote?
say
Yeah, that's
I
Karen's.
do it- what was the last one I told her?
Oh, you have
I
more?
wish I had the text message in front of me because we were texting back and forth, and it was something like, something to do with shoes. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I can do it better than you can, and in 6-inch heels, or something like that.
Oh, see, that's perfect.
And that's one of the reasons I watch is for the fashion.
It is. It is.
I didn't think of that.
And it's a whole other world out there where it's justified to spend. Remember on last season with Crystal's $95,000 Birkin bag, $95,000
For a purse.
for a purse, and it wasn't even a big purse.
No, and it was ugly.
Oh
Really?
yeah.
But it had the name and the
Yeah.
brand, so that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, it's a status.
So are these women overcompensating for something with all of this stuff that they're just flashing or not?
it becomes a competition.
Oh,
with
it does.
It does.
It does.
the
And
parties, the
oh yeah, one up each other, and once you're on the show, because it just then they vie to keep their contract, to be on the show, to stay relevant. So they make up drama or they stir drama. Or,
But when I hear some of the show and some of the dialogue, I think of middle school girls talking, coming out of their voices.
oh, perfect!
Like
yeah.
the things they talk about. And that's not being demeaning, that's being descriptive. I just think
yeah.
that's what they're
No, and
talking
I
about
think-
in a way. That's interesting to me.
I think a lot of dynamics in this world don't get past high school level.
Oh my God.
in the
that- I-
workplace.
You
and
are
the,
so true. You know, I'm at an age where I really it doesn't matter to me that if I watch Housewives, I'm proud of it, and I've read the books. I mean, my gosh, I haven't read all the Housewives
We've
books.
interviewed a couple of authors too, and people involved with the housewives who wrote books about
Brian
it.
Moylan, we interviewed him. He was very kind. And my claim to fame back in 2011, I got to do a spot interview or on the spot interview with Gretchen, Sonia, Phaedra, and Kathy
Wow.
Wakili.
You know how that worked out?
Wow.
We were at the Horseshoe, I think,
Mm-hmm,
in Hammond, and they invited me to interview somebody,
And it was
I
a
had
surprise. He didn't tell me.
And I had no clue what they were going to say or do, or what
Yeah.
question. I would ask questions, they would leave me alone. They would say, "I said good day, sir,"
Yeah.
because I would ask other questions instead of the nice puff piece questions. So I just pushed Karen in front of me. I gave her my record. I go, talk, just go. And she would just, she was.
I'm like, oh my God, hi.
It was like,
I was very
Sonia, where's your
fangirling.
toaster oven?
I did ask her that. And then
did you
they
really?
Just
You
kind
knew
of,
that? My God, it's amazing these connections you guys
See
can
that?
have.
Oh, yeah. I asked her something, and her publicist kind of shooed her away from me. But I'll say this because I was really up close with them, and they were beautiful. They were just
They've got the money
beautiful.
to
They
do
have
it.
the money. Sonia at the time, and I think she was drunk that night. She was
No.
really, yeah. I think she had a little too much to drink.
It was once, just one
But
time.
she was gorgeous. And then,
know about
well,
that.
this was 2011 when everyone was much younger. But I remember
Including
being
us.
including us.
I remember being talking very close with Gretchen Rossi, and she's like built like this, and she had very, very heavy makeup on, which I understood they were going to be on stage, but and everyone was super nice and very kind, and the only person that looked kind of normal was Kathy Wakili. But of course,
I felt like Kathy was a little too normal, and that's
She
why
was-
she's not on the show anymore.
no, and probably she ticked Teresa off, and
Yes, and you can't mess with the
oh
queen.
no, you can't, and she's so stupid.
She is so dumb.
Oh my gosh! Did you see her wedding and her
Yes,
hair? It was like
yes.
Marge Simpson.
Hey, who are we
but
talking
brown.
about? Which one?
Teresa.
Oh, okay. So I know more housewives
Judice.
than I should know.
Yes.
I can name quite a few, right, from all the
Yes.
franchises.
Can you name?
No.
Okay. Can you name somebody from Orange County?
Yeah. Wait. No. Tamra spelled differently. Tamra, I believe. Tamra.
Yeah,
And Vicky,
Tamra.
who my sister Judy rode on
Oh,
a
that's right.
plane with next to, and she was so impressed that she met Vicky Gunderson.
Gunvalson.
Gunvalson. And also, I had Vicky do a
Cameo.
cameo for Karen for some kind of birthday gift.
Oh, that's wonderful. And you went to LVP's restaurant, right?
Yes, we went to Sir and Villa Blanca.
Oh, wow.
LVP.
Lisa
Lisa
Vanderpump.
Okay, both of our jobs, I didn't realize this till this week, both of our jobs require us to listen to people.
Yes.
I've been doing it for almost 30 years now as a columnist.
And me
interviews.
too.
And
I've been
Karen's
doing my
too.
job almost 30
Yeah,
years.
dental hygienist, by the way. newspaper columnist. We listened. So on the same day we came back and we're just chatting late at night, and it just happened that she had a patient who lost a loved one. I had a customer. I had a person who I know who was sharing a story with me, and he lost his wife, and they were sharing with us. And I just realized that, wow, this is so powerful that people share these
Yes.
kind of deep emotions just during the job
Yes.
and what we're doing. And I was just so touched by that.
Yeah.
I mean, for a lady to tell you that was pretty powerful. And this gentleman, his name is Ed.
Mm-hmm.
He's 85 years old, and his wife passed away from dementia.
Mm.
And he was talking. I interviewed him while I was driving. My favorite time to do interviews is while I'm driving. And I interviewed Ed, and we're talking and having a nice conversation. And then at some point, he just choked up. He just couldn't continue, and he apologized to me. He says, "I'm not this kind of guy." And I said, "Ed, you lost your wife. I totally understand." And he,
Of 64 years.
64 years they were married. And I was thinking to myself, they were married and together longer than we've been breathing.
I know.
And that's an amazing feat, an amazing
What an
accomplishment.
amazing bond.
And to lose that person after that long. So no wonder Ed couldn't keep continuing with the conversation, but I was so touched by it. And he kept apologizing because he's the older generation, right? Is that, what's it, the First World War kind of?
The silent generation.
The silent generation. He was silent with his feelings for so long, and he got
Yeah.
emotional, and he could not continue.
I know.
And he apologized, says, "Can I talk to you about this another
Oh my
time?"
God, anytime.
And
Yeah,
I
take your time.
I said exactly that. And then he got back with me with a text that night apologizing again via text, which I thought was super sweet.
Yeah.
And 85 texting late at night. I thought that was really cool too.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I'm getting to is I'm going to invite Ed onto our podcast. She said, he said, so he could share his story of what it's like to be with somebody for 6+ decades and to share that story. Because we've talked to a lot of young people for this podcast so
Yeah.
far about young people issues. And you got kids running around, you got issues, and you got jealousy, and you got flirtation.
But
you got
what
this,
does it
but-
take to be married for 64 years? What kind of compromises did you have to, I guess, endure
Yeah, right.
to be married for 64 years?
That's what we're going to ask Ed, because
Yeah.
I am curious how that plays out. And then not only to have all that, and then one day he said she was making pancakes for him as she did for 60+ years in the kitchen, and she forgot how to make pancakes. And that was one of the first signs that he knew something was wrong, and she literally forgot how to do it. So we're going to invite Ed on the podcast. I hope he accepts our invitation. We'll have him right here, and he'll share his perspective of a generation that we don't talk to often enough.
And
right?
we should.
And we should. So we're going to do it here on She Said, He Said. We
Yeah.
hope you could join us for that as well.
Hey, you're going to take a tour of a med spa, and he's going to get Botox, and so am I.
No.
We're going to get Botox. We're going to get fillers.
No.
We're going to get cool sculpting.
No
We're going to get
again.
liposuction.
And no for a third time. No. But we are taking a tour for She Said, He Said. So I talked to a med spa owner and operator, works in Munster, and medical spa. And they do, like she said, Botox and cool sculpting and injections.
Dermapeels.
Everything, because everybody wants to look young again.
They do.
And pretty.
Yes.
And both.
Yeah.
And it's a lucrative business, and everybody's jumping on board. And you'll look around the region, anywhere there's med spas popping up left and right. And this is a quality med spa, I'm told. So we're going to take a tour.
It's much easier to get Botox and fillers and liposuction and cool sculpting than to eat right and exercise every day.
That's for sure. That we agree on. The other part we don't agree on, but that is so easy. Let's take a pill. Let's get some procedure done. Let's get some injection. I would take it.
Me too. That's why we're
We
gonna
could
get.
lose a little bit
That's
here,
why we're
please.
gonna get Botox.
A little bit here, please. A little bit this, like this. Can we just do that? That's what we
See,
want.
I'm 20 again.
So, no, I think you're 22. No offense, but yeah. Okay. And look, I'm 45, 52.
Hello.
Whatever. We're going to take a tour just for you, and we're going to take videos and photos. We're going to share.
Yeah,
on
I'm
the
excited.
podcast,
I want to go.
and we're going to see exactly what they do, how they do it, and what it costs.
Oh, I
'Cause
think it's a
that's-
lot of money.
And there's a lot of cycles. I didn't know that you have to go back again and again.
Oh, yeah.
For like to lose some weight from your stomach versus your arm versus whatever. You got to go back again and again and again. And who knows what it tally ups and who can afford it. But
Oh, you'll find the money.
interesting.
You'll find the money.
so on She Said, He Said, look for that soon, and also look for a newspaper column on the med spa craze taking place in our country and our region.
Yes.
And then we'll come back in maybe a month.
And
maybe
we'll,
2,
like, 10 years
this.
younger.
Yeah.
you won't even recognize
At
us.
least we'll feel it, and we'll pretend we are.
Yes.
And you'll have to just kind of like pretend,
along with it.
Yeah, pretend with us. Please,
Thank
'cause
you.
we're
Humor us.
humorous.
I'm going to go off on a real tangent. It has nothing to do with this, but I have a trivia question. What act came to the Holiday Star? Oh, that's dating myself. Geez, the Star Plaza. What act came to the Star Plaza? And the attention was so great, everybody wanted a ticket that it shut down the 769 exchange.
The Monkees.
No. Second guess.
ABBA.
No, ABBA never played there.
I don't know. You can't just chastise me. I'm making guesses.
That's a bad guess.
Is it?
ABBA?
Okay, I don't know. Who's
Beach
big?
Boys.
Beach Boys. I never would have guessed Beach Boys. Who'd guess Beach Boys?
My mother would always throw that little nugget of information out.
Little trivia by Viv. It's your mom.
We're going to start with one gesture at a time. Are you looking for different ways to tell your significant other that you love them, that you care about them, that you admire them, that you're proud of them, that you think they're handsome or pretty or smell good, something like that?
We're going to offer our viewers and listeners one gesture
at a time
on our show.
So, what's in the box, Jer?
That's a box of notes.
It's a box of notes.
What kind of notes?
Sticky notes. Thank you to Martin Oleksky for this beautiful box.
Lovely gift.
So, one of the things that Jerry and I have always done for many, many years is we leave each other notes. And this is just lots and lots of notes.
Over the course of 15 years.
This is nothing. Okay? This is nothing. They are inside cabinets. They are inside boxes.
But they're so easy to do. It's a gesture that
Yes.
anybody can do. Even if you're a husband who doesn't feel romantic and that kind of guy, you could write a note, a simple note, stick it on the windshield, stick it on her
Miss
coffee
you.
maker, put it on her mirror in the morning.
Happy Thursday.
We just randomly pulled these out. We don't know what they are. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. What the
Enjoy
heck does this
your
mean?
lunch and nap. Miss you.
The lawn looks good. Thanks, honey.
Leave the dishes. Take the Advil.
I forgot I wrote
Hope
that
you
one.
get a nap soon. That's definitely to me.
So these are our one, yeah, for
These
sure. I don't
are
nap.
really good.
One
Hump day
gesture.
breakfast. He made me breakfast on a Wednesday. It was hump day
Hump
breakfast.
day breakfast. You can't beat hump day breakfast.
These
So
are
our
fun.
ideas. So our suggestion to you, if you want to take one gesture from She Said, He Said, it's just a sticky note. It's a note of any kind. It takes you literally 10, 15 seconds. You stick it anywhere, put it somewhere. They'll appreciate it. It'll last forever. And you could put it in a little box that we got. And you got a box
This is
of
a good one.
notes.
I am proud of you. Thank you for working so hard for
She
us.
does. She works really hard for us.
And
Much harder than I
it's
do.
just a simple message that says so much. You can tell your wife, your husband, your mom, your dad, whatever, just to let them know that you're thinking of them and you appreciate them. Appreciation goes a long way.
It doesn't have to be love notes. It could just be notes of love to anybody. Mom, a kid, right?
Yeah.
Sibling,
Put 'em in their
anybody.
lunchbox.
Yeah, it's all about relationships on She Said, He Said. Leave a note.
Leave a note.
Take the cannoli. Wait, is it take the cannoli? Leave the gun, take a note. What is it?
No, it's take the gun, leave the cannoli.
Take the gun, leave the cannoli, and write a note.
Yes,
There
please.
it is. All right, thanks.
Thank you. You've been listening to She Said, He Said with Karen and Jerry Davich, sponsored by Times Media Company and Lee Enterprises, and recorded at Creative Space in downtown Hobart. Find us at nwi.com and where you find all your podcasts.
If you enjoy our show, we hope you return with your own viewpoints about couples, relationships, and the subtle or not so subtle differences between spouses, mates, partners, and potential partners. We welcome your opinions, your experiences, and especially your love lessons.